When fighting games continue their stories, many tend to do some form of time jump to introduce new characters. Examples of this come from Tekken 3 and Street Fighter 3, which involve big time jumps in a new generation. With Mortal Kombat X, we were introduced to the Kombat Kids: Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Kung Jin, and Takahashi Takeda. Today, we'll be ranking all 12 of their finishers from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Hope you all had a safe and fun long weekend, everybody. My name is Nick, and welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If you're new, consider clicking the subscribe button to join the Whack Pack today and to stay tuned for more Mortal content. Today, we'll be covering the Kombat Kids. These characters were meant to be the next generation of Earthrealm's protectors. In the two games they appeared in, they've made quite the scene in the MK community and competitive area. After numerous requests, these characters are finally about to make their appearance on this series. But they won't be the last of the NetherRealm Studios era characters to make it on here, so stay tuned for more. Their finishers will be ranked based on their creativity, pacing, and overall fit to the character. My only rule for the Kombat Kids is none of their brutalities will be included on this list. I'll do a brutalities list later down the line. Note I'll make sure to state some positives about all of these finishers, even the ones that I rank low. With that out of the way, get your shotgun gauntlets, grab your bow, and start chewing your gum as we rank all 12 of the Kombat Kid finishers. Number 12. Picking the worst Kombat Kid finisher was quite challenging, especially since all of these characters have been around for the past 7 years. Holy sh**. It's already been 7 years since MKX came out. Where has the time gone? With loads of advancements made and loads of personality injected to each finisher since the reboot, I sadly found this one to be the weakest for me.
Jackie wins.
We're starting this list off with the daughter of Major Jackson Briggs, Jackie. Personally, I found Fist Bump to be the weakest of the Kombat Kid finishers. For me, this one doesn't do anything to stand out as a Jackie finisher, as I feel many could have pulled this off with their own flair. Maybe if this incorporated more of her gauntlets into this, then it would have been placed much higher. To state some positives, the neck snap is a nice touch and the shot of the fist being pulled from the head is nice. Even with those positives, I still found this to be the weakest Kombat Kid finisher. Number 11. From one Jackie Briggs finisher to another, we're staying on focus with Mortal Kombat X. As I mentioned how her first finisher should have focused on the gauntlets, this finisher does, but it has some presentation issues. Blown Out comes in at the 11th spot. Although this one is a very gory and innovative finisher, its presentation could have been much better. My biggest gripe is that it moves way too fast and it's almost unclear as to what happened. Yeah, it's a shotgun blast with her gauntlets shoving her fists into the sides of the opponent. I would have appreciated this and I would have updated it if she cocked her arms and it would have been a slow-mo shot in there. Maybe repeat the final act 3 times for some effect. With the right improvements, this finisher could have made its shot. Number 10. Lashing into the top 10 is probably the community favorite of the Kombat Kids, Takeda, who's the son of Kenshi. With his gameplay focusing on techno whips, laser swords, and Shirai Ryu training from Scorpion, what does his first finisher bring for us? One that I feel was some missed opportunities. Head Cage pulls into the 10th spot. This finisher has a promising start, with the removal of the rib cage something pretty unique for a fatality. Ending it all by pulling a Dairu, Jax, Darius, or even Tanya, if you want to counter Harakiri, by ripping out a body part to stab them. Sure, the addition of the twitching is gross, and it kinda reminds me of a KDJY meteorologist getting the twitch. But I really do wish the team took advantage of the swords or came up with a different form of execution. Overall, it's a good start, but I feel like we got, ribbed off. Okay, that one was bad, I'll admit it. Moving on. Number 9. Moving on to the next Kombat Kid, the cousin of Kung Lao, Kung Jin. He is a master of archery and highly trained in hand-to-hand combat. Although he's not Kung Lao, he's still a bit of a show-off when it comes to his finishers, like this one here. Pinned down at number 9 is, well, pinned down. Highlighting the Bojutsu variation and trick arrows, the head of the bow makes the body go boom with the remaining limbs and head getting pinned to the ground. It's pretty neat, but my biggest gripe is the explosion part and how it feels like it comes out of nowhere. If they took a second to have him highlight the head was lighting or igniting in some way, then it would have made more sense, especially upon first time viewing. From here, this is where the finishers start to become a blast. Number 8. Time to move on to our first Mortal Kombat 11 finisher. When it comes to Mortal Kombat 11's finishers, many shine by highlighting specific traits and inject loads of personality. Where many are massive hits, like Scorpion's Chain Reaction and Sub-Zero's Frozen in Time, we get a few that don't leave that much of an impact. Jackie's Spider Mines takes the 8th spot. This one is quite unique, setting off multiple bombs on the opponent and having each limb blow off one by one. The attention to detail on the amputations and blasts on the side is impressive. For an MK11 finisher, I find this to be a bit on the weaker side, but one I still find that's a blast. Oh wait, I already used that one. Number 7, closing out Kung Jin with his second fatality. With his first taking advantage of the Bojutsu variation, this next one adds some of his cousin's flair.
Kung Jin wins.
Taking number 7 is target practice. Although pretty similar to his previous finisher, this one does a couple things that improve it over the original. First off, this one has a simple 3-act structure. The head pop-off, arrows piercing, and then the landing. For a simple finisher, it's framed really well and it's easy to tell what's going on. This one is right on target. Number 6. After all of this time, we're finally looking at the leader of the Kombat Kids, Cassie Cage. The daughter of Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage has a great mix of both personalities. All of these would lead to some great and funny finishers. Shooting our way into the 6th spot is Bubblehead. When MKX was first shown off in summer 2014, this was one of the first finishers revealed and, to me, left a good impression. It nailed how each finishers are going to be filled with more personality, even if the fatality is pretty simple. The addition of the bubblegum to cover the wound is some solid dark humor. But for real, if you really wanted to patch that up, you could have just got yourself some Flex Seal or something. Like bubblegum, this one just stuck with me. Number 5. Let's lash out another finisher from Takeda. With the first finisher being pretty okay, this second one innovates in personality and gore. Like its name, we're cracking into number 5 with Whip It Good. Finishers where you know you can't fight back tend to be pretty unique in this series. Though chopping the arms off is very common in this series, throwing a blade into their mouth to pull out some intestines is very unique and just extremely nasty. With that, Takeda and Kung Jin are out of the finisher ranking, with 2 cadets remaining. Which will take the top spot? Just keep watching and let's find out. Number 4. You know, it's been a while since we've seen a finisher involving getting hit in the groin. So let's get back to it. With the innovations made to MK11, finishers were gorier and crazier than ever. Examples include cutting the Achilles now look more gross, getting your jaw ripped off from your face, and... yeah, that one's still pretty much the same. Number 4 is Cassie's #girl power. Like her dad, this is another finisher where the final hit is to the baby maker. Sure, the bullets feel weird at first, but I see it as it loosens the skin before the spine pops from the kick. It's over the top Mortal Kombat stuff. Guess they can go nuts with whatever they do. Number 3. Time to wrap up Jackie Briggs' finishers with her latest appearance in this series. With her first 2 finishers not leaving much of an impact and feeling more like a discount of her dad, this finisher helps make her stand out as her own character, filled with personality. Taking the bronze medal is nothing but Neck, which is full of buckets and buckets of blood. In terms of gore innovation, this one is truly impressive, having the opponent perfectly cut down the coronal plane. The heart beating against the shield is an awesome detail too. Sure, this is pretty overkill, but I can't deny how cool all the follow-up actions are. From the no-look sinker to the heart beating and the splitting gore, all that stuff, it's just beautiful. Also, let me just mention that no-look sinker is just extremely impressive, so suck on that, Jordan.
I took offense to that.
Number 2. Our runner-up comes from Mortal Kombat 11, the game I've given loads of praise when it came to its finishers. Many are filled with great cinematic angles and personality. With Cassie Cage making her return, this one was another character highlight. Taking the second spot is I Heart You, a funny and new spin on an old classic. Recreating Johnny Cage's finisher from Shaolin Monks' story mode, but with loads of great additions. The 3-peat followed by making the heart hands, all with great beats and amazing framing. Of all of the simple finishers, this one does a lot of great things in its presentation and deserves all of the heart reacts. Number 1. Many fans of the latest MK games may have seen this one coming, but we're revisiting Mortal Kombat X for our final placement. As we've gone through this list, many of these finishers highlight some personal charm to make their fatalities unique just to them. For our top spot, we managed to get one with loads of personality while paying tribute to an iconic moment in the series.
Cassie wins. Fatality.
Coming in first place is Selfie. With Cassie being the phone addict and trendy trooper of the team, this one is just perfectly fitting. Taking a selfie to highlight her dead opponent while paying tribute to Mortal Kombat's friendships is just awesome. Take a long look at the screen and there's loads of references and Easter eggs to be found. This is a unique finisher with dark humor and loads of personality. I can see why so many fans like this finisher, as it is regarded as one of MKX's best fatalities. With all of these factors, this is what helps place Selfie as the #1 Kombat Kid finisher of all time. And that's my ranking of all 12 of the Kombat Kids' finishers from worst to best. Which finisher from the Kids was your favorite and which was your least favorite? Be sure to share your favorite in the comment section down below and I'll surely get back to you. And while we're down there, let's not argue with each other over our rankings. My list isn't the right list, it's just mine and I'd love to hear yours. Also, comment other grouped finisher rankings you'd like to see. I've seen many comments of people asking for PS2 one-timers and the newcomers to get a ranking. If those are videos you'd like to see, tweet me or let me know down below. You're all so awesome for supporting this series and the channel. Consider liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Within the past month, I've grown more than 2,000 followers, and I can't thank anyone but you. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks, Monday, June 13th, for a bloody and magical character finisher ranking. As always, thank you so much for tuning into this video. My name is Nick, and remember to have an amazing day.